Hey, Vision Chasers, Dr. Byrd here. Just yesterday, I was at a facility where my kids they get tennis lessons, and before that, a couple weeks before that, I was there watching my kids play tennis, and I had my phone and I used the Wi-Fi of the facility. I got their password, locked it into my phone, and so I was doing whatever on my phone. And yesterday I decided to bring my iPad. And so I'm sitting down watching my kids play, and I open up my iPad and I realize, oh wow, I'm gonna have to get the Wi-Fi password because I don't remember it. So unfortunately, I was gonna have to walk a pretty good distance in order to ask someone to give me the password. Or when I had opened it up, there was something that popped on the screen, and it asked me, would you like for your iPhone to share the Wi-Fi password with your iPad? And I was thinking to myself, wow, yes, please. Wow, it was like the iPad was reading my mind, because in that moment, that's what I needed the most. Well, that's what I wanted. That's what I really wanted the most, because I did not want to walk the distance to ask for the password again. And like, it really amazed me, and that stuck with me for it stuck with me for a while, that someone had thought that through and said, you know what, here's what we can do. We can have the iPhone and the iPad speak to each other and share Wi-Fi passwords. Wow. Vision Chasers, what I want to talk to you today about is I want to talk about how to bring the wow factor to your work. How to bring the wow factor to your work. Because when you do that, you leave behind an impression on people that can't be erased. And that could be the moment, that could be the pivotal or a pivotal moment in your life when you leave the room and people see your work. And in that moment, you have that reputation of being a hard worker, of being someone who can bring the wow to their work. And when you bring the wow, there's just something special about that. Like I told you, like I was thinking about that for hours. The fact, iPad, iPhone, sharing Wi-Fi passwords. Wow. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to bring the wow to your work, you've got to master the small things. Master those little things. It was Benjamin Franklin that once said that it's the small leaks that sink great big ships. Small leaks sink great big ships. And it's in those details that not everybody likes to get into, because those small things, mastering those small things, that speaks to your ability to adopt good habits. Because habits are a matter of consistency. Habits are just things that you do, and they're almost involuntary. And when you get into that pocket where you've got great habits that you've just developed in the area of those small things, whoa, you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game, because not everybody is a master of the little things. And perhaps you may be criticized when you're tending to the little things. Some people will just blow it off as, oh, that's doing too much. That's extra. It doesn't take all of that. But you know what? You might not always get a reward when you're mastering the little things, but it shows that you're willing to put in the extra work. And that makes a huge difference. That makes a huge difference in the eyes of others. When you go to a certain restaurant that specializes in chicken, what did you think when the cashier told you, "Oh, my pleasure"? It's my pleasure. What did you think when you heard that? I'm sure your mind was doing flips because that's not normal. That's not regular. That's not what typically happens when you say thank you. When you hear it's my pleasure, what that's doing to you is that's registering in your brain that there is thoughts behind this interaction. This person is in this moment with me, and they're giving me a greeting that I don't usually hear. Oh, I feel wow. You know who also likes to bring the wow factor? Disney. When you go to a Disney park, like they want to bring the wow factor because they want to make you happy. So when you go there, you don't see overflowing trash cans. You don't see gum on the ground because they don't allow their workers to chew it, because they want all of their visitors to have a magical experience. They've mastered the small things because they want to bring that wow factor. The other thing that you need to do in order to bring that wow factor to your work is you need to seek and act on feedback. Life is about making adjustments. You are going to have to make adjustments. And when you make adjustments, that's going to help you learn and grow. It's going to help you get better. It's a part of life. And not everyone is proactive enough to just go up to their boss and say, hey, I know I've only been working for 3 months, but what are the things that you see in me? What adjustments can I make? What things can I do to get better? And when you're proactive like that, again, that's like, whoa, wow, that doesn't usually happen. That's what your boss is saying. It's whoa, wow. Or if you're in school, go up to your teacher and ask them, okay, what are you seeing in my work? What adjustments do I need to make? I mean, and it's not doing too much because you only have one shot at this. Like, your vision of success is so important. Like, it's important. It's important to me. It should be important to you. I mean, I'm doing all of these videos because I want you so desperately to reach your vision of success and beyond. So please don't hesitate to ask people who are familiar with your work. Ask for feedback, and when they give it to you, please act on it. If it's someone that you can trust, if it's someone that cares for you and they're giving you good feedback, make those adjustments, because when you do that, you're getting closer to your vision of success. And lastly, bringing that wow factor to your work, that means constantly thinking, how can I do this better? How can I make this better? You're always forward thinking. You're always asking yourself, like, you're never pleased. You're never satisfied. Check this out. This is right here. This is my first, what you would call smartphone. This is my first smartphone. I got this in probably 2005, maybe. I was so excited when I got this. Look at this. It's got a little stylus, and I could take notes on it, and yeah. And I actually still miss the slide out keyboard. It was a bit of a challenge for me to go to the phone without the on-screen keyboard. It was a bit of a challenge for me to adjust to that. But I mean, you see the difference in these two. You see the difference in these two, and the reason for this huge difference is that you have people constantly asking, how can we make this better? How can we improve it? There was just so much research that went into going from here to what we have now. There's just so much in that led to changes and adjustments and growths in the technology. And that's how you continue to bring the wow factor, because you're constantly seeking out, how can we make this better. And so for those of you who are working, it's about looking at everything and, coming up with ways to that as an organization, you could be more efficient and submitting those ideas respectfully, of course, to your boss. Because when your boss sees that you're invested like that into the organization, that's something special. That your boss is going to say, wow, okay, you're not just here for a paycheck. You really care about your work in this organization. That's awesome. And for those of you in school, it's about taking great pride in your work, doing the very best that you absolutely can, and turning it in on time. And when you get feedback from your teachers, you are making sure that you're listening and you're implementing that feedback. And you know what? It is as well. It's about, going out of your way to maybe look up some additional information. If something that your teacher said sparked your interest, go out of your way and look up that information, or maybe engage your teacher in a conversation about that. I'll bet you they'll say to themselves, "Wow, this student cares enough about the content in my class, and that they took it upon themselves to go look up some additional information." Wow. That's how you bring the wow factor. You need to bring the wow factor. Vision chasers, they bring the wow factor to their work. And the other thing for those of you in school, the way that you can bring the wow factor is by stimulating the conversation and keeping the conversation going. Now I'm not saying you should dominate the class discussion, but definitely when your class is having a discussion and things get kind of quiet, your teacher should know that they can definitely count on you to make a comment, to add something to the discussion that keeps the conversation going. That's thought provoking. Your teacher should be able to count on you because you're making the class better, because you're putting your thoughts in the room and you're being a leader, and the rest of the students are looking at you and they're saying, "Oh, wow, that is interesting. Well, maybe I want to add something to that." You see how that goes when you think about how can we make this better. That's how you bring the wow factor to your work, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's what I have for you today. I want you to think about that. Really do. How can you bring the wow factor to your work? You need that in your life. You need that in your life in order to get closer to your vision of success and beyond. Well, until we meet again, Vision Chasers, please keep chasing the vision.